Bitcoin is trading at $62,800. It is Monday. That means the weekly candle has closed and gives us some new insight in what we could expect for the week ahead and potentially for the rest of this month. So in this video, I'm going to dive into the weekly chart and share with you some key levels, what I'm looking for on Bitcoin and the rest of the market. Grab your favorite beverage and let's dive in. So this is the weekly chart of Bitcoin, and in blue here we have the 50 simple moving average, and we still have a very strong similarity between what happened in May of 2021 and what is currently happening. And by that, what I mean is we had the same type of peak over here, and then we had a similar type of peak over here in the exact kind of same time zone. This was March, April of 2021. This was March of 2024. We had a drop to the 50-week moving average, which we did also, and now we're starting to bounce from here. So in theory, if this continues to play out, if this is the fractal that Bitcoin is following, we can expect more upside soon. So you can see if we take this whole move, look how similar this is. It's almost identical up to this point. So that means we could still be expecting $85,000 to $95,000 Bitcoin as long as Bitcoin stays above the 50-week moving average. So that is the key here. As long as Bitcoin is above this simple moving average, which is currently about 57,000, as long as we don't get a weekly close below there, in my opinion, we are repeating 2021, and we are looking for a continuation here to the upside in later this month. Hopefully October, November, December is basically the timing and the window for that period to play out. So yes, we could still pull back a little bit, but in theory, this high time frame trend is moving higher and higher. So the invalidation of this trend keeps moving up the more that time goes on and the price is above it. What that means is the longer we stay here above this 50-week moving average, the higher it goes, which means that the level that which Bitcoin can drop to now, before things start to change the picture of the chart, becomes less and less and less, right? So now 57,000 is basically the line in the sand, which means, yes, we could wick down to 57K, which is almost a $6,000 drop. That would be scary in the short term. That's still a possibility. But as long as that holds, as long as we don't close below there, this is still, in my opinion, favoring upside continuation and hopefully $85,000 to $95,000 within this year, within 2024, so within the next 3 months. Now let's take a look at Ethereum, which is currently trading at $2,460 at this point in time. This is also a weekly chart. Every candlestick on this chart represents 1 week worth of data. The blue is the 50 simple moving average in the same way that I showed you on Bitcoin. So in my opinion, Ethereum is struggling more than Bitcoin. You can see it is below the 50-week moving average, which is now resistance, and it is below this previous level here, which was support and has now become resistance. So it needs to get above $2,850 to really be bullish. Once that happens and we can flip this level, then I think it targets at least this level of 4K, but maybe even the complete all-time high. So that is the criteria for the bullish case. Until then, though, it is capped here also at the bottom by the support level over here at about $2,000 to $2,100. So it's kind of stuck in between these two levels, and until we get a breakout either way, it remains to be seen where we are going. It is also possible that in the short term, we could still drop here below it and then flip it and then move higher too. So that would kind of line up with the fact that if Bitcoin were to drop to 57,000, we'd probably see Ethereum drop to $2,100 or $2,000, create some sort of a bottom, and hopefully from there bounce. So since we are still in the first week, now in the second week of October, historically there can be some volatility and shakeouts in those first 2 weeks of October. So it wouldn't completely surprise me if we still have some sort of shakeout ahead of us in the next week or so, where Bitcoin does indeed drop to maybe 57,000 and Ethereum drops maybe to $2,100 or $2,000. That would be a pretty big drop, and it would cause a lot of fear in the market. However, technically, that would be a pretty perfect level to find support, both on Bitcoin at 57K and Ethereum here at 2,000 to 2,100. And hopefully from that point in, the bullish seasonality of these 3 months, October, November, December, starts to kick in and we just start to see a massive rally. Now it is also possible, of course, that we do just start to pump from here and that we do reclaim 28.50 here and continue higher without the drop. That is a possibility too, but you have to always be prepared for both scenarios. And that's just the simplest thing. It's about if, then. So if we reclaim 28.50 now in one go without dropping, then it becomes much more likely that we are bullish and continuing to target $4,000 or maybe even $5,000 on Ethereum. But if the price drops, then we are looking for potential support around $2,100 to $2,000. So that just gives you a set of criteria to work with to help you make better decisions. It means that here in the middle at 24.60, it's not a good place to take any sort of positions because it can still drop, it can still go up. So you're better off waiting for either the reclaim here to get more of a confirmation that the market is indeed bullish, and better off buying at above 28.50. Even though people will say, oh, but then I might as well buy now. But the thing is, you don't know, right? Of course, if you know it's going up only from here, you're better off buying right now, but you don't know. So when you're buying here, you also have the risk that it drops to 2,100 or 2,000 or lower. So in terms of probabilities, you have a better chance of buying when you have confirmation of reclaiming this 50-week moving average and this level, or let it drop first, find support, and then buy lower down. Either way, both scenarios give you a better chance of a direction without it going against you. So that is how I see both Bitcoin and Ethereum right now. The rest of the markets will obviously very much depend on what happens to Bitcoin. So if you're looking at meme coins, if you're looking at other altcoins, if Bitcoin takes a $6,000 drop, then the altcoins and the meme coins are probably going to drop that same equivalent percentage, maybe even more than that, most likely in the short term. So again, while there is a lot of FOMO and everyone's saying October, we could still see that shakeout. And if you FOMO in at the top of one of these rallies and then your meme coin or your altcoin drops 30, 40, 50%, then you start to panic, you sell at a loss, and a week or two later it goes right back up and much higher. That is how so many people get caught. So it's so important to keep track of what Bitcoin is doing and what Ethereum is doing so that you can use that to help you make better decisions for your entries and exits on altcoins and meme coins. Now, of course, there's also other things happening in the global markets, in the global financial system. We've had a rate cut, we see bearish divergences on higher time frames, and all of that I do want to cover in a separate video, so I think I will probably do that tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check in tomorrow. Then I will upload that on the stock markets, because that's also going to be important. As long as the stock markets keep going higher, crypto has a chance for its bull market. But if we see a stock market crash, then crypto is very likely going to follow. So it's important to keep track of both the stock market and Bitcoin. Now, to wrap this up, number one, we could still expect a bit of a drop here in this next week. Potentially Bitcoin to 57,000, potentially Ethereum to 2,100 or 2,000. But if it does continue higher from here, we need to wait for that validation to be able to just be more bullish on these markets. Then keep an eye on the stock markets too. Tomorrow's video will explain exactly what I'm looking at and what the key levels are there if we lose them and what the potential consequences are. So I hope you found this helpful. Smash the like button, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you in the next video.